Hey everyone, this is Eric Silvermoon, and today I actually just wanted to share with you um, a technique that I had with Shakti, aka Melanie Wallace. She does this really amazing One Ascension technique. She works with the One Energy and the kind of like that oneness kind of thing. So she well, I guess I should say a couple weeks ago, she asked me if she could do this technique for me, and I was like, heck yeah, I'm game. So that's awesome. And so we kind of scheduled and planned something out for us to do this technique, and so it's almost going to be like a little testimonial video because of it. Because I mean, I'll just start talking about it because there's so much, and I don't want this to be a really long video. Kind of want to keep it short, but so she ended up doing two things for me. She did a SRT, which I'll link her website below so that you could actually look at the description of what that is. And I also had a one ascension technique. Excuse me. She did one ascension technique. So the SRT, which was kind of interesting, so we did it kind of like in a Google Hangout. It wasn't recorded or anything. So we kind of sat together and she kind of went over what the SRT was going to be about. And I was super excited. I had like my incense going, like I really wanted to tap into this kind of technique and the One Ascension energy because it really resonates with me. And so I had my notebook. I was ready to write down anything that was coming up on my end. Um, she she then had her pendulum and she opened her SRT book, and she went through these different things, and she used her pendulum to answer any of the questions that she was asking. And it's really hard to describe the energy of that. Um, I literally felt like, and this is what I told Shakti. I told her, it's like, I feel like you were my spiritual lawyer because I felt like I was in a courtroom and Shakti's representing me, and she has all these things about my past lives and different things that happened to me in my past life that I'm still carrying on to this day. And she was clearing them for me, and it felt like I was in a courtroom having her clear all this debt from me from past things and clearing my name and clearing my soul. And it was one of the most freeing and nerve-wracking experiences for me because, you know, as when you're in a, well, hopefully you've never been in a courtroom, but the whole feeling of in a courtroom and not knowing what's going to happen to you, and having your, I don't want to say your life or you're something in someone else's hands trying to figure this out, whether you're going to do jail time or not. It's nerve wracking and you don't know. And so she was going through a lot of my past lives and bringing up a lot of stuff that resonated a lot with me, that affect me to this day. And so it was interesting seeing her clear those. And as soon as she said, "Okay, it's clear, it's released, it's you're not carrying it anymore," I did feel that release instantaneously. It was phenomenal. It's just I can't I don't know how to describe it. It was so bizarre how I felt. I felt fresh, and I felt like something huge was just taken off for me because it was like I was carrying all these chains from well, ball and chains from past lives, and each one was being taken off as my trial was being taken part. And so, excuse me. And so that was pretty intense. And she just kept telling me about things about myself that I knew, but I either didn't admit to it or didn't really tap into that energy. And it was pretty profound because there was something that she said to me about my family, my relationship with my mom, and there was a conversation that I had with my fiance Eric a couple weeks prior to it, when it came to my mom, because I always felt like I had to, pull it together for my family. I always had to figure all the things. I was the one that they came for guidance. And I was the one that resolved everything. And when I decided to move, like at age 19, um, all of my family home life kind of fell apart, and now they're really struggling. And especially my mom, and figuring out what she wants to do with her life. And she doesn't really have me since I live so far away to want to communicate, and I don't really do. Um, we have it's a complicated relationship. So I told Eric, um, I don't know if I'm going to be able to save my mom. I can't continue to save her from things, and it's exhausting, and I need to start living my own life. And one of the things that Shakti said as she was going through things that are blocking me in this current life, she just looked at me and said, you can't save your mom in this life. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, oh, wow. I was like, okay, so we're playing this game right now. So it was intense, and I was just blown away by the accuracy. And and Shakti, she's such a dear friend. She is my soul sister. She is my goddess sister, my fellow witch. And I have such a deep relationship to her. But there's things that I still won't share with anybody else besides my fiance Eric. And for her to tap into that, I was just like, that's intense. It was intense, and it was such a special, sacred moment, I think, between us. And I then felt guided to open up. And, since things came up in my trial, I was like, well, let me defend myself. Let me explain what that was. And so, because yeah, it's true, and I would like for that to be released, because I don't want it to carry over. So again, Shakti is my spiritual lawyer. If I'm ever in some kind of spiritual karma debt, she's going to be the one I call to clear it. So excuse me. So yeah, I mean, it was phenomenal. It was absolutely phenomenal. And then she kind of just had me kind of sit with that energy and say, okay, well, we'll schedule the One Ascension Technique maybe a couple days or a week, whenever I feel ready for it. And I said, okay, cool. So we'll do that. And the moment we kind of cleared the call, I sat in prayer, and I thanked her, and I thanked her spiritual tribe for the amount of work and the amount of love and caring that she put into it, and all that energy she put into to me, and trying to do this for me. I was so grateful and so humbled for the opportunity and the experience, and for what I took from it, the value and everything. So it was great. And I looked at my notes, and I wrote a couple of things down that really triggered some fears that I had. And reading it, I kind of felt like, okay, I'm okay with this. And, I'm okay to release this. It's safe for me to release these. Um, because sometimes when you're dealing with a lot of fears, you sometimes want to hold on to those fears, because it's almost to the point where, if this makes sense, it's all that you know. And so then you become a new fear of letting that go, because then what do you do? Who are you now without this fear that you're holding on to? So releasing that and kind of allowing yourself to be vulnerable is pretty scary. And so having someone like Shakti to come in and very gently kind of grasp your hands and take that from you, it's like, okay, I fully trust you. Okay, fine, take it. And just sitting there and allowing her to take more things, and I was just like, oh my God, I feel so relieved, and I can't believe I was carrying so much weight. So that's how I felt with the SRT. So then a couple weeks, when I will say maybe a week later, we scheduled the One Ascension Technique. And the One Ascension Technique isn't done like like how we did it the first time with the SRT. We did the face-to-face kind of thing. This time we did meet face-to-face, but it was only to explain what's going to happen. So the One Ascension Technique, the way she described it to me, was that she was going to have me sit in meditation. And I like to do my meditations laying down with like a eye pillow, my headphones, music, or guided meditations. That's how I really zone in, and allow myself to sit in meditation. So I told her I'm going to go ahead and lay down, and do that. And then she said that she was going to do her own thing, her own ascension technique on her end. And since I'm in California and she's in Minnesota, that's a long travel for that energy. So I was kind of like, okay, well, let's see how that goes. And so it was definitely long distance healing treatment. So we ended up actually ending the call so that we could go ahead and do what we needed to do. So I went into my bedroom and I lay down and I put myself into some. I put myself in my bed and I put my headphones on. I put some really quiet um, music that didn't have any lyrics, like meditation music, very calming. I had my lavender eye pillow on, and I had my. I chose to have a quartz crystal with me, so I put that on my chest, and I kind of laid there, and I was just in the moment of gratitude for the experience, and I kept getting flashes of, my family that passed. I saw my grandma. Um, my dad popped in since he passed away this year in January 1st of this year, New Year's, he passed away. And so for a moment, I saw my dad, and I felt kind of like that, like I don't want to hang around for too long because I know that you're okay, and I don't want my presence to alter the experience. So he came in for very quickly in my thoughts, and I felt his presence, and then the rest of it was just me um, trying not to overthink about the experience, and I just kind of let things go. Um, excuse me. The goddess Morgan came to me that time too. I felt these black feathers falling down from the sky and kind of just surrounding me, and I thought that was pretty interesting. And so the whole thing was just kind of like pretty intense. And so when I messaged Melanie afterwards, I think I was in meditation for a good 45 minutes. And I told Melanie that when I do guided meditations, if my soul requires it, I knock out. I fall asleep real quick. And so I think I fell asleep for a good 20 minutes. But in my dream state, that's where I felt most of it was happening. And so when I talked to Melanie about it, or Shakti, she's all like, "Oh my God!" She's like, "I cannot believe the amount of power and energy that I was receiving." And she's all like, "You have no idea how much you are loved. I felt your grandma come to you and give you a bunch of kisses, and she just felt so much love from that and from your family." And I was like, okay, that was crazy because that's how what the images I was getting um, was that. And so for her to say that again, I was just like, oh my God, like, what the heck? You're amazing. And so she was just kind of blown away on her part on how quickly the ascension work was working for me, and what it did for me, and the energy that she was picking up was pretty interesting. Sorry, Eric just got up, so the dogs are trying to run over there. But it was intense, and I just told her, it's like, I'm so grateful and thankful for this experience. And I mean, I'm so interested in the rest of it. I mean, I would love to teach it. I would love to learn it so I could teach it one day, because I thought it was just the most rawest and most purest divine energy, I want to say, because it deals with oneness. It deals with the actual source of that energy to really surround you and accept it. And she gave me some great tips on how to continue the One Ascension techniques every day. And I admit that I failed in doing them every day, but I do them every other day. Some days I do every day, but I mean, for me, it's just about starting it and creating some kind of like, me, I love my 30-day challenges, and as Crystal says, you have to do at least a 90 days so that it sticks. And so maybe I'll do a 90-day One Ascension challenge soon. And so yeah, I mean, that's what I wanted to share with you guys, my experience with Shakti, with Shakti Spiral, aka Melanie Wallace, with her One Ascension technique. I highly, highly recommend it. I'm still blown away. I'm still healing. I'm still releasing. This Since that moment, all this change that I've been talking about, all this like intense feelings, was because of it. I felt like there's a cat that passed by. I feel like Milo. I feel like the every door in my being, anything was completely open to allow me to come in and shuffle through my stuff and really go through the addicts, I guess, in my mind, and unboxing things and going through it. Shh, what's the matter? These dogs are going crazy. Really going through my just the boxes I have and decluttering and all this other stuff. And so it's been profound of the things that I found and that I'm ready to release. And I'm just like, I can't believe I'm hoarding all these emotions and feelings and fears. Like, I need to get rid of this. So it was great. It's absolutely been fantastic. And I hold Shakti in a very special place in my heart, and I'm so grateful for that opportunity. So, again, I'm gonna link it below so you guys can get a kind of a informative thing from her website on the my dogs, the One Ascension Technique, and see if you're interested in taking that those courses. I'm not sure courses. I'm sorry. I want to say that they're just sessions. I know she has a couple courses coming up, and so hopefully she'll have them posted so you could take a look. So thank you guys so much for joining me today and kind of hearing me in my One Ascension experience. I really appreciate everything. Thank you guys. Have a beautiful weekend. Blessed be.